Hey,
Hi.
everybody.
We're live at Inman in New York, and we're kind of doing double duty here. We're doing a live post on our Facebook page, and then we're also recording for our podcast.
Got a microphone right here.
Yes.
How are
So
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. So we've had a good first day at Inman. We've been separate for most of the day, just getting as much learning as we possibly can.
And to those of you who don't know what Inman is,
Yes, that's true.
that because it's
Yeah.
a person's name, but it's a conference that talks all about what's up and coming and what's new and exciting in real estate, which is
That's right.
what we do.
Yeah. But, the other great thing is that it's a lot of key takeaways that you can likely apply to other businesses. Especially today, I went through the marketing track, and there was just a lot of great marketing advice that I got that can easily apply to pretty much any business. But obviously, we're in real estate, so we can apply it to that.
Right on.
Right.
And I spent the day in a bunch of, it was a meeting that I've signed a non-disclosure agreement for, unfortunately. So sharing from me will be at a minimum today, but I will play the role of interviewer, I think. And
Yeah.
you're a panel of one today where I will take
Yeah.
in your knowledge. We're doing our knowledge share now, and you get to be a part of it.
That's right.
So,
All right.
so let's take it away. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking marketing.
So I wrote down a whole bunch of notes, but I think one key takeaway was just centering on providing the most exceptional consumer experience that you possibly can provide, in an era where the consumer is much more informed than they have been in the past, especially in real estate, knowing like all of the data that we have access to. Obviously, we've got to provide our value in other ways, and enhancing the consumer experience is the key lesson that I sensed as like kind of an overall message today. So just a few, like I can kind of name off a few of the notes that I took, and then we can kind of discuss them. I don't know how that works. We'll see.
Go for it.
All right.
Jump in.
So for consumer expectations, you have to think about the last time you were just wowed by something. So I don't know if there's anything that you could think of that you were just wowed by the experience as a consumer.
You know what? I think you know about one thing that wows us, that keeps us coming back as consumers, and that's our local pizza place.
Oh yeah, it's true.
We have developed a long-standing relationship
Yeah.
with one of the owners of the pizza place,
Yeah.
so much so that for our every Friday night pizza and a movie night, it doesn't matter what we're feeling like or where we are, we're going to that pizza place and
Yeah.
we're getting a unbelievable experience every time. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's smiles, we all know each other's names, she knows our kids.
Yeah, she
She's
gives
got gifts
treats
and-
for the kids, and not that like you need it, but like just little things like a freezy or a lollipop.
Well, and our kids have come to the point where they bring her gifts
Yeah.
and they're displayed in the pizza place. And,
Yeah.
and that relationship really, it makes us feel. There is one time, admittedly recently, that we went to a different pizza place, and even our kids were noticeably upset
No,
that
they're
we were betraying.
I know. They
We
even said,
betrayed
I
her.
don't want to betray Brenda. Like, she's our pizza girl. And
It's
even
true.
I went to pick up the pizza from the other place, and I just walked in, and I just, like, it was such a different experience.
dirty.
It did.
It was wrong.
It was just really wrong. So,
But
sorry,
that,
Brenda.
But that speaks to experience. So yeah, I mean, that jumps right out because we every week, and
Yeah.
I know this Friday we will be back there again.
Yeah. So as a realtor, I mean, little things that I got to thinking of is like, what if you got like little labels with for water bottles, and then you have them in the car. So when you're taking your clients out for showings, you've got water. You've got maybe like little packets of jujubes. I don't know. Like that would impress me if I walked into a car and my agent gave me jujubes. I'm like, yes, that is awesome. So little things like that.
Yeah.
If you can kind of like pick all of those little spots where you can just enhance the consumer experience, you will be well ahead of the game.
We actually talked about that in our meeting, and I don't think it goes against anything that I promised not to say. But yeah, there were, I won't use the specific examples because you just gave some, but just think like your customer and have a feeling of, if you were in their shoes, what would you wish was there that just is never there?
Yeah.
What is the kind of thing that maybe you'd want to remember to bring with you, as a consumer, and just have it with you as the salesperson, that if they do or they don't have it, it's so amazing. So you gave good examples, whether it's snacks or drinks or things like that.
Yeah.
Little tools,
or like for clients that have kids, if you're going for a listing presentation and they have a kid, like bring a coloring book, like things that are just going to stand out, so when they meet another professional in your industry, they're not going to remember them as much. Like, you're going to be the one that sticks out in their mind as the one that will go above and beyond for them and for their family, and ultimately give them the best experience.
And I don't know if they talked about this in yours, but I would think, don't focus so much on the you branding of it, like the Uber, like don't give out 8x10s with your picture on it. I'm not opposed to a logo or whatever, because I know that there's part of them remembering is that they might have something that they use, but it's about the experience. It really is. I think a lot of people feel like they need to leave behind so many things that are just tossing their logo out there. People will remember. They can make connections, I think, between experiences and the people who help give it to them. Yeah.
Another good example of just even following up with clients from the past, specifically to real estate, but they talked about, if you're going with a buyer, they usually do a home inspection. So there's all these findings that come out through the home inspection. So say in 2 years, they need to replace the roof, or 3 years, they got to do the windows. So in that time frame, follow up with them again and say, hey, I remember when we did our inspection, you needed to do the roof, and this is around the time that you need to do the roof. Do you need any help getting recommendations for roofers? Those kinds of things. They're like, what? Like, you remembered that? Like, no way.
Yeah, I did. Hi, Mohammed. We're getting comments coming in because we're live this time. So write things, ask questions.
Yeah,
because that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
But, yeah.
And then, of course, so kind of deviating from the consumer experience, they also talked a lot about social media and being present. Consistency is definitely key. But one thing somebody mentioned is, even though consistency is critical, you can start from a lower point. So you don't have to be posting daily. You need to make sure the content that you're putting out there is valuable. And for a lot of people, putting out a valuable post every day that is high quality might not be doable. It's probably not doable for most people. So if you can start, like, let's say you want to get into video and you can do like a good high quality video once a month, that's an amazing start. Like, that's way better than you were before. And then you get the systems in place and you work up to more if that's what you want to do. But just putting out that consistent content that is valuable, I think a lot of people get kind of drowned with thinking that they have to do it daily, so they just put random things out that isn't valuable to your community that you're trying to build.
What were the thoughts, if they were discussed, on, let's say you have a lot of content one week, and you're dry the next week?
Yeah.
Are you better off going every day when you can and then going slower when you can't, or do you hold on to things so that you stay consistent on a schedule with less content?
I think it's consistency. Yeah, you got to be consistent. So if you fade out for a week, I think that's going to have an impact on you, versus if you're posting every second day versus every day.
And to me, the only potential exception to that is if something's time sensitive, or if something is tied to a date or something that's happening right now. Don't hang on to that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I agree. I think if you post every day for a week and then go dark, people might actually latch onto you during that week and really be hungry for day 8 when nothing comes for 7 days, and then they disappear from you.
Yeah, and there was a stat that was put out there that the higher performing agents will be consistent at one form of marketing for 18 months. That is like their average consistent time period before they start seeing results. So it doesn't even have to be online. Some people do really well with print marketing and sending out postcards. And if that's something that you're really good at, or you want to be good at, you can't expect it to happen overnight. Anything that you do, and I've even seen it for myself on Instagram, just like building the community that I now really value and appreciate, that's taken a really long time. And that's
I can appreciate that.
That's something that you really need to keep in mind.
This is my Instagram shout out of the day.
Yeah.
Follow me. I'm not even going to give you the handle. That's shameless.
No.
Okay. So what's next?
Yes. So I'm sorry. I'm just reading these notes here. It's on my computer.
This is now, I guess, what is this, location number 8 for these broadcasts?
It's true.
Yeah, this is another makeshift studio in a hotel room.
It's fun.
So, yeah.
The other stat that they had put out there, I don't know exactly the percentage, but over the last couple of years, HGTV has taken over in the amount of viewers over CNN, which I guess had the highest viewership in the past, and now HGTV has taken over. And for a lot of consumers or people that are engaging with that content, it's a nice break for people. You know, you like to follow up on news, but everybody needs to like have a Netflix show in their life or something, or even Instagram stories where you're just being entertained. So if you think about that in terms of the content that you're producing, you want to make sure that it is somewhat entertaining. Maybe not all the time, but you need to have that entertainment component to it to keep people engaged.
I agree. I mean, I think don't be rigid. You know, we talk about being authentic, right?
Yes,
but
authenticity is a
entertaining,
big word, yeah.
I hate to say it, but if your authentic is in no way entertaining, I'd say work on getting a little bit entertaining because, you know, not everybody is all the time. I know some people are listening, so they might not have seen what I just did, but...
most people aren't.
Just try to be relevant, be entertaining, be authentic, be fresh. Part of the reason probably, like I'm one of those CNN watchers historically, but CNN now has become, if you watch it, it's a one-trick pony. I can go on there any time of day and all they're doing is talking about a certain somebody in the States and how bad he is.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of it. So I'd rather watch HGTV now because there's going to be something fresh and entertaining.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's just me.
No.
And most North
people,
America.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
It's true. The other thing about video is just being more personal and more direct. So a lot of people were talking about creating video text messages that you can send to your clients, or a potential lead comes in, and instead of sending them a text, send them a video text so they can put a face to the name and start making that personal connection with you sooner rather than later. Because I don't know about you, if I think about that, I'm like, if I get a text message that is a video from somebody that is a potential person I might do business with, I'm more likely to choose them over somebody that just sends me a generic email or text message. So that was good.
And if somebody chooses, it's just like when we talk about recruiting or anything like that, if somebody sees a video and doesn't want to work with you, then you know what, maybe it wouldn't have been a fit anyway. It helps create the relationship and determine how well it's going to work. So I agree.
Yes.
So yes, tell us more.
I'm just trying to
I could just talk while you're looking for things. I can talk about my day.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, it's time for a relationship obsession that just goes back to the whole creating an amazing consumer experience. For branding, one thing that really stood out to me is Coldwell Banker just went through this whole rebranding thing, and it's quite different. It's like an older company, so obviously their marketing and their branding has been very traditional up until the last couple of years. And so when they went through that exercise, they really had to be intentional about it and did it for the right reasons. So I think a lot of times, especially as a smaller business, and we've experienced this, is, you get kind of intrigued by, newer looks.
Bright, shiny objects.
Yeah.
Always.
And you really have to stay true to your brand. And like, maybe if you've been a brand for 70 years and okay, now it's time for a refresh, I get that. But don't be changing your branding every year, because then people aren't going to recognize you. And that can really have a negative impact on your business.
In our industry especially, there's a very recent influx of bright and shiny objects and technologies, and people jump in, and I don't blame them because that's why they're there. But be deliberate in what you choose if you choose something different, right? Yeah. Because not everything new, they might all be good in their own way. Like, we're here at this conference, there's vendor upon vendor upon vendor of cool new things, and that's part of the reason why we're here. But that doesn't mean just because it's cool, it's something we need to adopt, right? Just to be the one with the tech thing or whatever it is. If it doesn't fit, evaluate where you want to be. I think that's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. And then also just don't jump right into the branding. Like if you want to change your brand, that's great, but slowly ease into it. Test it out. Ask consumers that you work alongside, like your key core consumers that you're looking to attract. Ask them for their opinions. It's okay to like take a few months, up to a year even, to just slowly ease into it, because you want to make sure that it's going to attract the right people. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their certain type of consumer, and if your new branding isn't calling to them, you're not gonna do well.
I think the same goes for product, offering everything, anything you do.
Yeah.
Want the feedback. Don't be defensive. Don't be protective. Like that's what I did all day today. I was one of the people brought in by a company here to provide feedback, and they were rolling out new products that aren't yet on the market. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there was a lot of negative feedback, but it wasn't negative in the sense that I'm not going to use the company anymore. It was negative in the sense that I'm happy they're asking me my opinion because this is something I'm going to want to use potentially. Mm-hmm. And why not give the feedback that lets them know what I'm going to want to use?
Yeah.
Right? We did that with our auction platform.
Yes.
For 6+ months before we launched. It was all about getting people mad at us.
Yeah.
Or at least like taking the worst of it and being happy to get everyone's criticism, right? True. Because, they say constructive criticism. That's what it was, because we changed what we were doing a lot, or we at least tweaked it, and we continue to tweak it every time we get feedback. And if you can't grow with what your consumers want, then you're going to fail.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I think any industry, it's true for that. Like you can't stay stuck in a certain, like, and that's the other thing is like, things are changing at such a more rapid rate than they have in the last 5 or 10 years or beyond that. Like it's crazy. Like, Facebook was huge a few years ago now, and then it became Instagram, and now it's like Snapchat, and then you can get more bang for your buck on LinkedIn. Like there's so many different things. TikTok. Yeah. Like TikTok's huge. I mean, in real estate, it's not really the target market, but it will be.
Well, but that's another example though. It doesn't fit our brand necessarily. But it will. But it could. If clients are telling us that that's what they need, and there's a way to leverage what's out there to fit what we do, I wouldn't rule it out.
Well, look at Instagram, right? Everybody that wasn't, I don't know, like maybe I guess a millennial or younger was on Facebook.
What are the younger ones called now? Gen Z? X? Y?
I have no idea.
A?
Yeah. Like in their 20s, I don't know. Anyway, so like
know.
Everybody was on Facebook, right? And then all the cool kids went to Instagram, and then slowly
I stayed on Facebook.
Yeah, you just caught
Case
over.
in point.
But slowly all of the cool kids' parents started to filter over to Instagram. So all the cool kids are like, what the hell? I'm now getting off of Instagram and I'm going to TikTok and Snapchat. And so that...
We're chasing the cool kids out.
It's true, but no,
everywhere.
But that's like, you have to follow that. And soon the cool kids are going to be buying real estate. Or you might be in an industry where you want to try to attract the cool kids. So you definitely need to get your Snapchat game up and your TikTok.
We should make that our new target market, the cool kids.
Yeah. But I know, seriously, like...
After the cool kids.
It's like you have to stay on top of the new emerging technologies. And these aren't even new and emerging, but LinkedIn is one of those things that a lot of people have ignored and haven't taken advantage of the fact that there's not as much noise in that space. But you have to be deliberate and intentional on the types of people you're going to target. You're not going to, if you're appealing to a 18-year-old, you're not going to go to LinkedIn and start advertising. But like for a realtor, that's a great platform. You want to, showcase your products and your services to professionals that are on that platform.
And craft your message appropriately as well.
Yes.
Even though this is all notwithstanding, you want to stay on brand. Don't be something you're not. But if you're putting an advertisement or a call to action out on LinkedIn, it's going to look different and feel different, and the words are potentially going to be different than if it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? So cater to the audience you're talking to on the platform you're talking on.
Yes, exactly. And that even, remember we were in that session together this afternoon, and they were talking about like a personal meeting is better than a phone call, an email, or a text, which I get, but I feel like we're getting into a time where people prefer communicating by text. So replace the text with a video message. I feel like, you kind of have to balance things out a little bit.
You can personalize the impersonal.
Yes.
In some way.
I like that.
Tagline.
There you go.
Stealable.
So,
yeah, no, I agree. And I buy into what was being said on the personal side of things. I would never want to, especially in real estate, you're not going to go through a transaction cradle to grave online. And some people do, but I think from a lead perspective, and when you're trying to reach a lot of people at mass with your message, it's okay to not always be door knocking and always be trying to do the hand-to-hand combat. Although that is still one of the most effective methods of, meeting people.
It can be. Yeah.
But again, it depends on who you're after and what your message is and what your brand is and all
what
that.
you like doing too. Because if you hate cold calling or door knocking, you're not going to do very well if you try it and you're just like torturing yourself. Anyway.
Well, especially if you look like you're torturing yourself when you knock on the door. They open the door and you're like, oh, can't I just leave my flyer behind?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't do that.
Yeah. Well, especially because in order to sell anything, you need to have that one-to-one contact. If you're going door knocking and you think a successful day is you handing out 100 flyers to a doorknob, that's not successful. You need to be talking to
Unless
people.
your target market is doorknobs.
Well, yeah, but probably not.
I doubt it. They don't spend a lot of money.
Okay. One quote that I liked is, where is it? Provide more in service than you expect in compensation. I really liked that quote.
That got eyebrows from both of us.
I know. I like that.
Do you want to explain that? I know it's sort of self-explanatory, but for those who just tuned in and missed the quote,
yeah,
I mean, it is pretty self-explanatory. But
I think it just goes back to that value and that exceptional customer service that you're willing to provide to your clients. I mean, that is what is going to get you business and keep you, just in terms of in terms of repeat business and referral business. If you provide that exceptional service, I mean, we know this great broker, Ralph. Mm-hmm. How do you pronounce his last name? Sorry, Ralph.
Ciencio?
Yeah,
Chancho?
He works with Remax. They're in Markham, and their customer service game is just it's exceptional. And I mean, so look to others in your industry or beyond your industry who are creating those exceptional customer experiences. Don't copy it, but be inspired by it and use it to create your own personal versions of amazing customer service.
And it comes back to what you said at the beginning. To me, it's value. In today's world, people don't want to spend money on things that they think they can do themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they can do things themselves now, and technology is allowing a lot of people to do things and cut out professionals who probably would do a better job, but without being able to show tangible value and why you are the reason that they're spending a little bit of extra money.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out, right? So find what that is, right? Service is 1 and 1A of that list. And I think that is almost all encompassing, but what falls within service that represents a value add and something that makes you indispensable to the consumer.
Yeah, exactly. And then going back to Instagram, I know a lot of people, obviously stories are huge. The highlights that you can put, those little circles that everybody uses, but just in your presentations to clients, if you're in real estate, as your listing presentations, if you have a section or a highlight on staging or your listings or your open houses or your past videos that you've done for your listings, if you can have that all summarized in your highlights in little buckets, then you can use that in your listing presentation to show your clients. They're likely then going to follow you right then and there. And then you've got that initial contact, that relationship, bam, you're off to the races because your potential client is now following you, and they're probably not doing that to anybody else they're interviewing. So just having that available and just showing people that you are organized and you are on all of the platforms that everybody else is on is really great.
One thing that I learned at the last conference we were at that we haven't talked about, that's an Instagram thing, is treat your posts, and they said your 9 most recent posts.
Yes.
That's effectively your website. to a lot of people, because when somebody goes to your profile, they see those 9 boxes, and you want that to be representative of you. So I know we talk a lot about using stories versus posts and when to do one or when to do the other. Make sure that the posts that you put up there, those are going to be 9 images that resonate what your brand is to people. And so if you're always just posting food, you know, which is fine. If sort of one of the things that represents you is you're a foodie, then that's fine. But if it's 9 images of food and you're a realtor,
it's a hard balance,
math,
because you also don't want to have 10 pictures of houses either. But it's like, it's a balance.
You know, there's not, and it's not to say that there's a rule as to what those have to be. It can be a picture of you with your kids. It can be a picture of you on vacation, whatever it is. But just understand that the same way every social media, like people are looking to certain things. And this is another thing somebody said today that we saw. When people are going to work with you, before they even want to pick up the phone or call you, they're probably creeping you somewhere in social media. And they're looking you up, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, LinkedIn. And you want to make sure that you're putting your best self forward, or at least, you know, the image of yourself that you'd want to be proud of being out there.
Exactly.
Right? So just be aware of what's out there, because it's public, and that can be good or bad.
Exactly. And then talking about email marketing, and that's something that we've really started focusing on within our business. But because we're so inundated with emails, and I'm sure you are as well, you probably sign up for a whole bunch of things, and then you get on these lists, and then you get emailed, and it's like, like I've got 5,000 emails I haven't opened. In order to ensure a good open rate, you really have to be particular about your subject line. So you can actually Google, and I didn't even know this, but you can actually Google spam trigger words for email, that like certain words that will just,
You're hitting our fake microphone.
Sorry, microphone. You can just you can just Google those, and like there's certain things like deal, and like I'm trying to think of other ones. Exclusive, like those might, like especially if
Sunday.
Especially if people are using Gmail, it'll get filtered to their trash or a promotion, and then people might not ever read it. So that's really important. You want to keep the subject line short. You want to segment your email lists very thoughtfully. So like one person was saying, you know, if you've got consumer clients that are newlyweds, and in real estate, you probably do, or expectant parents, if you can segment them so that you're sending them out valuable content based on those segments, you will ensure that you get higher open rates.
That is good advice.
And then I guess the only other thing, so one thing that I thought was funny at the start of the session today was be like Disney, recreate your old content and modernize it. So, you know, there's a lot of old content that probably got you a lot of engagement. And if you can bring that, modernize it back into 2020, that's great. And even more so, I think if you are, you know, getting a professional, for example, to take photos of you, bring out a few outfit changes, different locations, because we just went through a photo shoot and oh my God, like the engagement I got from the one picture I put up that was the professional one was like beyond anything I've ever tried to filter myself.
It was a very good picture.
But that's what the professionals are for, right? And like we hire professionals obviously to take pictures of our listings, but we don't hire professionals for our branding. And that was the other thing. Sorry, my mind is all jumbled up with all the things that I learned. But the higher performing agents actually spend more money on their branding and advertising their branding versus getting leads, which I thought was
that makes sense.
The percentage, it was like 60-40 for high performing agents, and they defined a high performing agent as somebody that sells more than 20 listings a year or more than 20 transactions in a year. So that's a good performing agent. And then those that just didn't spend, like then average agents or below average agents were spending probably about 15 to 20% advertising their branding. So like that just blew my mind. And it's so true. And it goes back to, I'm putting all of these random pictures up on my Instagram and they just don't look professional. And it's okay. Like you don't have to always have professional looking pictures. It's got to be a balance. But if you have a professional photographer working by the hour, grab a few outfits, grab a few locations, and do different things. And you will have content for at least 6 months that you can just continually put out there.
I have yet to release any of the pictures of myself.
I know. Wait.
Tonight. That's so creepy.
It is really
no
creepy.
pictures coming out tonight. Yeah, it's the same photo session. I was in a suit.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree with that though, because they also mentioned from a lead perspective, there's so much emphasis put on lead generation and paying for leads and paying for ways to get leads. And ultimately in our industry, over 85% of the volume done in real estate is through repeat and referral business, not through lead generation. Right. And granted, 15% is a big number, you know, when there's millions of transactions done in North America. However, think about what that means in terms of even your lowest hanging fruit, right? Instead of just throwing all your eggs into the basket of, I just want to get a bunch of names. There were tons of, there were 6 billion leads purchased in North America last year. That's 6 billion.
Insanity.
And of that, first of all, there were only 5 million transactions altogether.
Yeah,
right?
so what does that say? Like, I don't even know what the percentage of that is. Well,
and then you cut that down, that 15% of those were from leads. So whatever 15, call that, I don't know what that works out to, about 900,000?
Sure.
Around 900,000 of the 6 billion were actually converted into something. Whereas,
crazy.
You've got more than 4 million that were just a function of who you are and who you've built your relationships with. Because that's where the money is. That's what's valuable to people, is seeing who you are, right? It's not to say throw out the window, trying to find more people through other means, right? Because that's valuable. But
and what blows my mind is that we don't value the clients we already have. We don't value those relationships. People send you referrals and you're like, okay, great, thanks for that. But you're after the strangers on the internet that aren't giving you anything. Like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing?
And both sides, if someone's giving you a referral, value the referral, but value the person who gave you the referral.
No, exactly.
Right? Because if they're that good to you, that they've just given you the lead that you're going to pay however much money to try to convert.
Yeah, spend that on your amazing clients that are giving you the referrals.
Invest in the people you know.
And for God's sake, please, like, you are putting yourself out there on social media. Respond to the people that are engaging with your posts. Like, don't just put out a post and let all these comments roll in, or like even 1 or 2 comments roll in and don't respond to them. Like, those are the people that are engaging with you, and those are the people that are going to do business with you. So just freaking respond.
Don't treat this, and I think I've referred to swingers before in one of these. There's this whole, when do I call the girl back? Well, no, not till Wednesday. No. There's no cool way to deal with posts and with interaction. Interact immediately, okay? Or if there's, like you said, if there's 15 comments on your post, it doesn't mean respond to every other one because you don't want to make whatever your
who cares?
Or like them all and do it. But like, don't do it nonchalantly. Show that you're actually paying attention, because it's another thing we were just watching, which was kind of a commentary on social media and how mindless we get, where you just scroll on your heart, thumbs up, heart, thumbs up. Great. I'm not saying don't do that, but honestly, engage. Engage. If you actually want to send a message to someone or respond to someone, clicking a button so that you can go to the next message, it feels that way to a lot of people, right? And especially when there's 100 likes and you're one of the 100, how much more impact would you have to write a little sentence that's nice and respond that you actually were interacting with what it is that they did or what they said to you?
I appreciated what you wrote, or I really connected with what you said. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are putting out inspiring posts with really inspiring messages. And, how much more memorable would it be if you send them a direct message and said, I really connected with that. Thank you for posting. Like, when people say, put a comment or send me a message that, like, thank you for posting that. Like, that was something that I really needed to hear. Like, that is what you want.
Especially when it's direct.
Yeah.
Something about not doing it in the public forum. It is more personal, but it actually shows that someone is trying to engage with you. They're not trying to make their comment seen elsewhere. They just want you to know that they appreciate or that they want to communicate with you. And take that for what it is. Communicate back. Right? So, no, that's very important.
Yeah. And then the only last thing that I can think of is, every listing, if you're a realtor, is a representation of your brand. I thought that was really important. And then I was listening to a talk about the luxury market and how exclusivity is something that people really gravitate towards, even like with new builds, right? Like new pre-construction opportunities, like the VIP events and things like that. So if you can kind of create some sort of like VIP marketing effort around your own products that you offer, make it seem as though it's an exclusive event, maybe reward your best customers or the ones that refer. Like if you can create kind of events around that, I think that would be very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, it ties into the next level service and value perspective. Make people feel special, and do it genuinely. Yeah. Again, like I keep coming back to authenticity.
Yeah.
Don't say things just to say things. Say it because you actually mean it. Yeah. Because that's who you need to be, a competitive player in any marketplace. So it's really good. I mean, I'm just sort of I'm the sidecar on this because you saw all the stuff today, but
no,
that's
it's
good stuff.
Great. A lot of value, definitely a lot to bring back to Toronto and our agents and Toronto. And then, so one more thing before we all break is, so before Daniel,
we all break, we really have been at a conference all day.
So Daniel was we were separate. So I went to go pick up lunch today and we're right in Times Square and there's all of these characters that are there. It's just like so weird. And I was thinking what is going on? So anyways, there's like 30 Minnie and Mickeys. There's
popular
superheroes and there's a guy out in his underwear with a guitar. Like it was just like all these randoms. So I was just like on Instagram stories just trying to film it, and this Mickey Mouse is actually very creepy because they're actually not like real Mickey Mouse.
They have like red eyes, don't
they're really creepy. But anyway, he came right up to me. He's like, "Oh, let's take a picture," and like literally grabs my phone.
Did he do it like this? "Oh, let's take a picture."
No, not at all. He's like, "Hey, let's give me a picture."
Hi, I'm Mickey.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So like these 3 Mickey and Minnie Mouses swarm me. One of them takes my camera. Like I didn't even I'm like, okay. Like, and I'm like, I'm in Times Square. Like I'm kind of a little nervous, but whatever. Like your Minnie's looking really creepy. So Minnie and Mickey stand beside me and take a picture. And as this guy's taking pictures of me, Mickey says to me, we operate on donations. And I'm just like, really? Like, I thought like New York was doing this out of the kindness of their hearts.
Oh yeah, that is the New York state of mind.
I can be very naive with this kind of thing. So if I was with you, you would say,
I would have pushed Mickey over and run away.
Yeah, we're leaving. You're not taking my daughter,
I'm surprised you, phone. And they were holding your phone.
I know.
You got your phone back though.
I was like,
we're recording.
Crap. So so my mind starts racing the moment he says that. So the guy takes Mickey number 2 takes 10 pictures, whatever. And I'm like, I'm from Canada. I don't have any money.
You're a foreigner all of a sudden. I'm from Canada. No. I don't know.
Well, because I didn't have any American money on me. I'm like, because I would have given him $2 or something.
A poutine.
Whatever.
A beaver tail.
But I didn't have any American money on me. So I looked in my wallet and I go into the change thing, and this guy my wallet kind of opens. He can see a $20 bill. He's like, "Oh, that's okay. You give me Canadian money." And I'm like, "No, okay, here's a toonie." He's like, "No, I can give you change for that 20." I'm like, "Are you joking right now?"
That's bold.
Yeah, and he pulls out this wad of cash. It must have been $500. And there was 10s and 20s in there, and he probably just does it for effect to make people feel bad.
Mickey's rolling in it.
I know.
Was this Mickey or Minnie though?
This was Mickey with the wad of cash.
Okay. Was Minnie
No,
a female?
Okay, this Minnie yes, Minnie was a female, but she's a very creepy female. So she's got this they've got this wad of cash. I'm like, "No, you can have a toonie and that is all I'm giving you." And so I gave him a toonie, and then Minnie starts walking behind me what about me? And I'm like, what about you? You literally took 20 seconds out of your day to take a freaking creepy picture with me, and you want a $20 bill.
Think of the time they invested in trying to get the money from you,
Oh
though.
my god. Oh my god. So, I mean, lesson learned.
Okay.
Don't, if you're in Times Square and you think that there's Mickey and Minnie's that are just doing pictures out of the kindness of their hearts, it's not true. It's just not true. And I know, and it's funny because like you're the most on guard, like, you know, suspicious person, and I'm like
in Times Square of all places.
Yeah, I know. Well, but like there's families there, people are taking pictures, so I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
no. As anyway, I learned my lesson. My phone didn't get stolen.
And
I didn't
got pictures.
I did. I posted one on my Instagram and Facebook today. But anyway, that was an experience, and that's all. So thanks for tuning in.
If you take nothing else from this episode,
yeah. I know. And if you want us to do, well, maybe we can try to do a live video tomorrow at the airport.
Yeah.
We could try.
We can.
Let
Why
us
don't we
know
do a
what
live video with Mickey and Minnie?
Oh, God.
How much would that cost us?
No, I'm never going back there. Like, honestly, I feel like they have a picture of me and they're going to, like, tackle me the next time they see me.
I kind of wanted to walk through Times Square tonight. And now we're blacklisted.
Anyway. All right. Well, thanks again.